Hi, I'm Darius McDermott, Managing Director of Fund Calibre. Today I'm with Ainslie McLennan, Fund Manager of the Janus Henderson Property Fund. Ainslie, hi.
Hi.
You've recently announced the move by the fund to a carbon net zero neutral from an operational perspective. Could you explain that in a bit more detail, seeing as I've asked that question really badly?
Yeah, so we're really pleased to be able to sort of finally make this announcement. It's something we've been working on really since 2012, when we put our first sort of photovoltaics on the roof of one of our assets, and we've really gone from strength to strength in terms of what we've tried to do and deliver across the portfolio. And we feel that while it's an ambitious target, we think it's achievable, and we think that we're the right sort of fund profile to be able to make that statement and to deliver on it. So we've set out our commitment, and the journey has really been going on back since 2012. So we're really pleased to be able to let everybody know what we're doing.
And how do you expect that to work in practice?
So in practice, we already, we've been on this journey for quite some time. So we've had photovoltaics, and we've continued to roll programs out of that. We've got another program of rollouts this year. The same with things like electric charging points, and particularly I think where we want to capture the most energy efficiency. If you're looking at a retail warehouse park, for example, we want to be early on some of these schemes to get the best power supplies, because as we go through this journey, a lot of other people will be looking to do similar things. So we've tried to be careful about where we choose to do those. There's a cost obviously in rolling all of this out, but there's a great return to come from it too. So from our perspective, I think we're not only looking at what we can do to just be better, but we're also thinking about what could leave us open to becoming worse, what could start to impact valuation if we're not on the front foot about doing things like this. And that's very meaningful to us. So we want to make sure that we're really looking after everyone's money, and we're sort of very carefully doing these projects where we can see we can get a good return. And for example, on our photovoltaics, we get somewhere usually between 5 and 8% of a return. So it's actually a line on a valuation. It does make a difference.
Starting to be meaningful.
Yeah, it's starting to become meaningful, especially for the amount we're doing.
Now, with the fund itself, it's very diverse, not just through the types of tenants, but also the types of buildings that those tenants have and that you own and let them out. How does it work? I mean, different tenants, different requirements. Can you give us a couple of examples of the sorts of things you're
the sort of bite you're trying to get?
Yeah, maybe one that you've done and one that you're working on.
We really do need tenants to engage with us, and we've been lobbying them now for years. Every year we've done sort of a lobbying exercise of tenants, particularly in buildings where they're single let, so we can't control a service charge that would help to start to move into discussions and move into action on some of these properties. So I think we've found we've got a lot more traction in the past couple of years, and that's continuing. And a lot of these brands, a lot of these tenants themselves, these businesses, they're beginning to more fully engage with trying to be as green as they possibly can be from a brand perspective. So from our from our stance, I think we're seeing more opportunity to work with these people. People like B&Q, for example, have been fantastic to work with right from the get-go. They've had a good attitude towards it, and we have them as a substantial tenant in the portfolio. So you can see that you can work very well with some of these people, but it's not perfect, and there will always be some that lag, and there'll always be some that we can't completely control. And I think we're very live to that. I don't think that that's something we're hiding from. I think we're trying to be very transparent with everyone in the investor base and what we can do and what we possibly can't do. But I think on balance, we can do a lot more than not. So I think that this is something that we feel we can work through as we get closer to 2030 as well. And remember, it's 10 years, it's a short time period. But it's a lot's changing, regulations changing. A lot of these tenants will have to engage as a result of regulation changes too, and that will help to open conversations.
And you talked about the installation of sort of electric power point charging and some of the but it's not just about solar panels for electricity. What sort of
there's also looking at
practicalities?
There's clearly looking at the renewables piece, which is massive and something that we're working towards. Will we be able to take all of our gas heating out by 2030? We're certainly working towards as many projects as we can to do what we can, but I think, again, realistically, there will be some we can't totally control or be able to execute on. And that's, we're not looking to use offsets. We're very much wanting to be the real deal. So, it would only be the tail end of that journey to 2030 where we really couldn't move some buildings from, say gas. heating, that we would look to use offsets at that point, but that's not something that we're setting out on the journey
much further down the line.
To buy our way out of a situation.
Yeah.
We want to really make a bit of a difference. So, it's important, I think, for people to know that. And
the UK Green Building Council aren't just interested in carbon emissions as such. They also have interest in sort of waste and water usage.
Yeah. We've been measuring that for some time, and again, that's ever evolving in terms of what we're able to do and get traction on. But that's very much wrapped into what we're trying to do here. It's not just about, how the energy kind of comes and goes from a building. It's looking at everything. We've also covered things like living wage on the fund, which we were sort of doing over the last couple of years. And the projects continue, and we just we're not shy of trying to get involved. On any level, really, not just really sustainability, but looking at where we can have a positive impact on communities, all different kinds of things. But first and foremost, we're trying to make that commitment on the operational net zero carbon by 2030, because we think it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Thank you very much. For more information on the Janus Henderson Property Fund, please visit fundcalibre.com.